Hello to all of our BPTV fans, YouTube fans, and Facebook fans, plus the new fans watching us. I'm Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. I co-host and co-produce Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. And we do have a special guest today, a woman that I met here in our studio in 2018, 2019, and I've admired her ever since. Elder Terry Shields, founder and executive director of Jada House International. Welcome, and we are so excited to have you here. It's been a while.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
I thank you so much.
And we can talk while we're painting. We want everyone to know the wonderful things you're doing for our communities in Pittsburgh. So,
Well, thank you for having her on. I've heard of Jada House, and I'll have
Yes.
a couple questions for you.
Yes.
Because I'm inquisitive about women power.
Yes. We love strong women. We love to promote
Absolutely.
strong women. And
That's
so,
why I'm outnumbered
yes,
2-1.
I know, it's good.
Let's go.
Right. So, because of what Terry does, she inspired this design that I created. This is from the West End Overlook. But she's a Pittsburgh woman. She grew up in Hazelwood, right?
Absolutely.
Still there. And this is a view from the West End Overlook of a sunrise in Pittsburgh. So that's what we're going to paint today. All right, so we are going to get started here. So we have transfer paper underneath your design. You have a pen there. Yep. And these come in the art kits if you get the art kits at the studio. Otherwise, I just have the list of materials, and I also have a 10-minute video that goes with each show to just teach you to draw this on your own. It's easy enough to do. So we are just using this, though. We're just using our transfer paper. Oops. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same. It's just a guide. Just follow the lines, but then just remember to remove the transfer paper. You can kind of see it through the paper, and you don't have to transfer the pickle. He's just there.
I was ready to,
He's
Maria.
just there for inspiration. We use our little pickle pointer, my pickle that says Heinz on it, which I love, and pickles. I used to can pickles with my grandma. She used to grow them in her garden. It just kind of reminds me of her. So, and then the little shrubs. Again, when we do this little shrubby area, you don't have to pay too much attention to the exact lines there either, because our paintbrush will create the design for us. So I'm just doing these lines here. And when you paint with acrylics, typically, you usually paint from the back to the front, and the layers are on top of each other. But because we only have an hour or under an hour, we're just doing this in a different sequence with the layers of paint. And it still works fine. But if you had more time, you could paint the whole background first, the sky colors, the base, block that all in, and then do your layers on top. So they're just different ways to create your painting. But the acrylics dry really quickly, so it works. And then I usually pick it up and just make sure I have all of the little spots. Okay. So we're using white, purple. This is a fuchsia or magenta color, yellow and black. You can also mix different colors of your own. You can use different variations. This is just, the colors that we chose for this. And I did do this, I was inspired by a photograph that actually a lot of my friends are Pittsburgh photographers, and this is one of their favorite spots there at the West End Overlook. So this was from an actual photograph that I was used for inspiration, the clouds, and I had taken one myself with the clouds in that formation, and I thought that was really pretty, the way the sun comes up behind the city.
And Maria, growing up in Greentree, right next to Parkway West, it was 5 minutes from my house, and West End Circle was about 7 or 8 minutes away. So I know right where that is, and I've seen that over my lifetime because I moved in Greentree at 2 years old.
Wow.
So,
and Terry, now you've been in Hazelwood forever, right?
All my life.
Can you see this city at all from where you are, or no?
Hazelwood Green, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, the new where the steel mills used to be at.
Okay.
They renovated that area.
Okay.
And it's beautiful down there. You can see the
I
city
saw it.
down
I was
there.
just down there
Yeah.
recently. I remember the mills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad to see that.
Me too, because I use it.
Yeah. So
Good
can
for
you,
you.
tell us about Jada House International?
Jada House International started in my home 9 years ago, because next year we'll be celebrating 10 years.
Nice.
And we started with a group of women, and we started to talk about chronic illnesses and children who were incarcerated, mothers who had to deal with those types of things, and just the community at hand, what we could do to bring some programming to the
Sure.
community.
Yeah.
And I would cook meals.
Nice.
I mean, really good meals. And
Tell me one of your meals.
one of my meals might have been lasagna. One of my meals might have been Alfredo, chicken, shrimp Alfredo.
That is
Just-
my son's favorite.
just just cooking meals, and we would fellowship around the meals and talk more. And I guess we became popular, I want to say, by the meals. And
Okay.
more
Yeah.
people start coming.
Yeah.
Well, people do like to eat.
And they like
Yeah.
to eat, so that's a comfort thing. So they would come and they would eat.
And these
we-
were free meals.
They were free. Everything was free. We didn't have a 501c3 when we
Yeah.
first started. It was
Yeah.
just coming out of my pocket. We did that for a couple of years, and my grandchildren were staying with me, 2 girls, and they would help me set up every Monday night.
Okay.
And they asked me, could you do something like this for us?
Kids.
That is so great.
And I said, absolutely. And I'm working a full-time job.
what
Working
kind
at,
of work were you doing?
I was working at UPMC Health Plan. The health plan was working there.
Nice.
And they asked me, would I do something for them? And I said, absolutely. So I picked a day, which was Thursday. We would do Thursday teen night with girls, and we would do Monday with the women. And I
Okay.
would cook for both
Wow.
parties, Mondays and Thursdays, and plus work.
Oh my goodness.
So we did this.
When
and
did
then-
you sleep?
I know. So one of the ladies said, why don't we do something in the community, like give away book bags and school supplies? So I said, sure. Where are we going to do that at? My backyard? Like I wasn't really open to it at first. So we didn't have any money. We all pitched in, and we bought school supplies, and we got donations, and we went up to a little park, a spray park where I
Okay.
live at,
Yeah.
and we did it. We just gave 35 book bags away,
Aw.
and we continue to do that. So I thought about the seniors. So we do an
Yeah.
annual senior luncheon where we serve seniors.
Way to
and
go.
we give entertainment and guest speaker. And
So
then
this has really been growing.
And I'm sure
Yes.
that's made such a difference in their lives.
Absolutely.
And then just this, the getting together, a sense of community, connecting
that's what
each
I want,
other.
the unity and the love and the fellowship is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So we continue to do it on. And in 2014, 2016, we finally got our 501c3.
Okay.
And we went from 35 book bags to 500 a year.
Wow.
And we do a annual celebration, back to school celebration. We do the senior luncheon every year. We serve them. Bistro Zago's my favorite, and
Okay.
they cater to us. And it's a
Nice.
catered meal. And then we have a guest speaker and live jazz.
Nice.
Seniors like jazz. And we give
Wow.
away gift cards. And then we do a Christmas thing, give away toys. And
That's
we just
amazing.
do it over and over again every year. And like I said, next year we'll be celebrating 10 years. And I
Wow.
can't believe it's
That's
just time just
awesome.
flies.
Well, when we met you. So our mutual friend Lori,
Yes.
shout out to Lori.
I love Lori. Hi, Lori.
I know. So I was doing murals in Lori's home, and
Beautiful murals.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sitting there painting. I was probably on the floor, painting, and she said, I have this friend, and she works with teens and kids and does all these great things, and which maybe she could bring a group of her kids up to your studio. And I said, absolutely. So you came, I'm going to say maybe 6 or 8
About
kids.
8. Mhm.
Yeah, that was 2018, I believe. And of course, I loved you as soon as I met you and everything you've done, and admired you since, and just kept in touch with Terry and kept up on what she was doing. And when we were having the show and I knew we were going to have some special guests, I said, she's one on the list I definitely need to get in touch with. And so I called you up and you said yes. So here we are. So it's great.
I'm just
Yeah.
honored to be here. I was like thinking like, wow, she really remembered me.
Oh, I remembered you. You're
but
one
I
of those
remember the
people
store.
That, yeah.
Yes, I remember this
but-
art studio.
But I was just so amazed by what you had done, the selflessness, then the care and love for just, if everybody did a little, not that everybody has to start a 501c,
Exactly.
but just maybe just maybe be kinder to some people you don't know. Everybody has a story. Everybody's going through things. And just don't be afraid to reach out and talk to people and meet people and maybe get together for, just a little thing, couple women, and look what you've done and helped thousands of people. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's surreal sometimes.
So yeah, how could I forget you?
A mutual
And now we're
admiration
painting
society.
together. I know.
This
so
is amazing.
It's great. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get started. So let's put your paintbrushes somewhere up here off of, because we're going to use this, our palette here. And we are going to start with the background. So as we mix the colors for this background, instead of rinsing the brush and going back in, I like to blend the colors right on the brush and mix them kind of on the canvas. So we're going to start with a lighter color at the horizon. And then as we add the pink, we'll get little tones of maybe some orange in there because the pink will mix with the yellow. We can add some white. So that's what we're going to do there is start. So let's grab, I would say we're going to grab the 1/2 inch flat shader. And I usually put the brush in the water first just to keep the bristles together. And let's see, I'm going to grab the yellow. And when you load your brush, I'm going to do this like this. When you load your brush, you want to flip it back and forth. No smushing, right, Alan?
Yes.
No smushing.
No smushing
You
here.
want to
Keep
grab
it flat.
Yeah, and then you can test it on your palette too. Just kind of work the paint into the bristles, and a generous amount of paint. If you, as you're starting to paint, if it starts to drag a little bit, then you don't have enough paint on there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay our brush. You can lay, if you lay it this way, you can use that corner, and we're just going to come in and just come along the horizon, and then as you need, you just then work your way up. So you can see, and then I'm laying the brush flat, and just basically blocking this in. So we're going to come all the way across, and then you can turn. Did you see how I'm using just the corner to get in those little areas? And then when I have this vertical line, I'm just holding my brush vertically. And we want a generous amount of paint on here. Once I come in, I come across, and I have it blocked in around the buildings. I'm going to keep in mind the cloud formation because I want my brush strokes to follow those patterns. Now you can, if you're going around the buildings, you can even pull, you could see if you pull the paint across our transfer line, you can still see through it, so you can even cover it up a little if you need to. And then
Thanks for
way,
that tip.
Yeah, and that way you don't even have to worry about getting in there so tight. So what I'm doing now is I have this blocked in here, all of the yellow. I want to start to transition from the yellow to the pink, but I'm going to pull some of this up just kind of like this in the direction where, in the direction of those clouds. So I'm not going to rinse my brush. I'm actually putting a little bit more yellow on the brush, and I'm going to put the corner of my brush in the paint, but I'm just doing that at the edge instead of sticking the brush in the center of the paint.
And you're going into the red?
The pink, yes.
Yep.
Yes. So what I'm doing is mixing those two colors. I'm just going to mix it right on the canvas. And what I'm doing is I'm introducing that color and pulling it back into the yellow and blending it so that it's a transition from the yellow to the pink with some of this more like an orange or a coral color. Just kind of do something like that. And now here you can smush the brush down a little bit to give you some of that cloud, the cloud shapes. And then where this color that I just mixed comes down into the yellow, I want to soften that a little bit. So I'm just using a dry brush technique. So I'm taking that extra paint off of my brush and just softening where they come together. And if it did get a little too dark, I can always add a little more yellow. Just throw a little bit of yellow back on there. You just want that transition where they come together to just blend. And then from there, I'll go into laying in more of the heavy pink But yeah, you're good, Terry. You can just, yep, you can just pull that around. And I'll come back in and help you with your painting if you have a question again while you're
Oh,
moving
I
along.
do.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
We're doing our best here.
And I would say, don't be afraid to leave. Like the paint can have some brush strokes in there. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. The brush strokes in here are what make it interesting. But you could see now I'm just going straight into this pink, beautiful pink color.
Maria, I didn't
Yes.
copy any of the leaves, which I see there.
No,
so
we didn't. We wouldn't
so
do that.
just leave,
yes.
yeah, your paintbrush thing. Thank
Yes,
you.
we're just doing
just
that
checking
with our-
you because I'm
Yeah.
putting yellow around where I see it.
No, when you paint so you want to go into, so from the yellow go into the pink now,
Okay.
and keep that yellow on your brush, and then you can see where I have them blending together.
Yes.
And then if you need them to blend a little more, just add a little more yellow.
Yeah, I need to.
So I would start above the yellow and then come down into the yellow.
Okay, above and then go down
Yes.
into it.
Then
All right.
because the paint is going to be stronger initially because you have more paint on the brush, the pink.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
And then as it tapers off, it will be a little lighter. And, we don't have to make it look exactly like it does on this picture.
I was trying to follow your lead and guidance here, but
No,
you're
doing-
tweaking it,
you're
so I
doing good.
appreciate that.
Yeah. And we have some purple in there too, but as it comes down, like I said before, you can change, just go with the flow. Your clouds don't have to look just like that. So I'm taking off, so now I want to blend where I have this brighter pink coming into the yellow. And these lines are okay. I still want to soften them a little bit. So I'm just taking that extra paint. I'm not using water. I'm just taking the extra paint off on my paper towel. And then you'll see I come in and just soften just a little bit. And you can have some of those harsher lines in there too, but that's okay. So you have that color there. And as it dries, I'm probably going to come in and add a little bit more of that pink as well. You can add some white if you want a little bit of a lighter pink too, but I want to keep it very strong. We get these very beautiful colors with some of these sunrises here in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going above and painting all along the tree. Don't worry about where the leaves are going because we want these colors. When you had asked about that,
They'll
we
actually
want
be underneath
Yes,
them?
we want those
Okay.
to be in between the leaves.
I needed your guidance.
So I would say
Me
grab a little
too.
bit more pink and get that up under that tree, and then you need to blend them while it's wet. See where your yellow and your orange are meeting? You need to blend them like now before they dry. So I would take some extra paint. Oh, that looks good, Terry. And then if you want them to just blend a little more, you can just have less paint on your brush,
Okay.
a drier brush.
Okay.
And you can even add just a little bit of yellow and kind of mix where they come in together.
Okay.
And that just helps transition the colors. You kind of want, and they create their own shade also, or hue. So you could see now the pink, I'm just laying in more of that pink. And then the purple will come in on top of that because that's a little darker. And this will dry by the time we're done working on the city and the other areas. This will be dry so that our leaves can go on top. Now this pink seems a little bit more translucent, so you can see here. So I'm flipping my brush back and forth. It depends on the paint, how opaque it is. This one is not as opaque as the yellow. So I'll just leave some of these brush strokes in here, and that's fine. So yeah, I added a little bit of white there. And then I'm going to throw in some purple. The purple, I'm going to keep it all the way up at the edges of the canvas. Like here, I'm going to do here, and then I'll pull a little bit down here. That looks really pretty. So the clouds, depending on the direction you have them, it could be the way the wind is blowing, right?
Yes.
Comes all different directions. I mean, our weather comes from the west here, but sometimes it changes too. And so I just grabbed purple, and I'm putting, let's see, we're going to do a little bit of purple, and I'm putting some white, just a touch of white in there. Some of that yellow still on my brush, and I'm just pulling that in So just have fun with it. It's your sky. No two skies are going to be the same, right? You don't have to make it look
Right.
like mine. Just this is your painting, and just see.
But your purple's up near the top, right?
Yeah, because it's usually the sky is brighter at the horizon, whether it's a sunrise or a sunset. The horizon is just brighter at the horizon.
Okay.
The sun is so that's why we have the yellow down there. Now with art, you could do your own thing. You could certainly reverse it if you want. It just wouldn't be.
No, I want to follow your lead, co-producer
too.
and co-host.
They look good. And then the tree, as you
Missed
paint
it.
it, I would say just paint that all pink, and then you just add
Okay.
that section,
Okay.
because the black, the
I
tree
missed it.
will be the tree will be one of the last layers because we're doing that background first, and everything is going on top. So those leaves and the tree, they're in the foreground. And when you have a scene such as this where you want to create some depth, the reason the tree is up front and then it kind of pulls your eye back over is that does give you that sense of dimension here. And the city, as you can see, is softer in color, and the hues are a lot lighter because of the aerial perspective. So in the distance, in the fog in the air, or anything that's in the atmosphere, everything always looks a little less detailed and paler as it's in the distance. So foreground, middle ground, background with your layers, that creates depth in your artwork. So we can see the size of the brush is pretty close to the buildings. So I can use this brush for most of them. And then for the smaller ones, I'll just grab one of my smaller brushes. Now we are going to mix a gray, but not I'm going to put some purple in there too, because I wanted to still pick up the hues in the sky and then the little foggy shrubby thing above the shrubs that we're going to have. So whenever you're mixing a color and you're using a light color, dark color, always start with the lighter color and introduce the dark color. If you start with the dark color, you might end up having to add so much of the lighter and just end up wasting a lot of paint. So I'm going to put a generous amount of the white, and I'm going to take a little bit of the black, but I'm putting the black next to the white. And I will pull in the black as I need it. Now that's pretty strong. So let's see. Now I feel like it's a nice gray. Acrylics also dry a little darker, so keep that in mind, so that the tone, the shade that you see, it will get a little darker here. But I feel like the gray just by itself, it's like, eh. So I'm
using
going
the
to put
same
some
brush?
Yes.
Okay.
So start with your white. Put a generous amount of white. Put a lot of white on your palette here. Introduce a little bit of the black. But what I'm going to do is add some purple.
Whoa.
Because the purple will make this a prettier gray. Gray doesn't just mean black and white. It could mean many colors, but
Well, there's different shades of how dark
exactly
things are, right?
So, and also it could be a warm gray, a cool gray, and then add a little bit of purple. It just makes it a prettier gray. All right, so now I'm coming in, I'm laying my brush, the edge of the brush, you can see I'm resting it on the canvas, and I'm just laying that brush down, and the bristles will spread out, and I'm just pulling my hand. And this is the horizon line, so we don't want it to be a straight line, kind of wavy, because it's the hills and buildings. And then I can grab my corner of my brush, just put that up there. So just lay the brush down, and so Terry, look, if you lay your brush down and you spread the bristles out, it controls your hand a little bit, because the weight of the brush is on the canvas. Now I'm just coming in the square sections or the rectangles. You can see that the brush itself is making the shape of the building.
Yeah.
And if the building is narrower, then I'll have to use a smaller brush. But you can see I'm able to get different sections here. Then I'll come over here. And these aren't going to be very detailed because they're in the distance. But that purple, you can see it's a gray, but it just has that little bit of that purple hue, and it just looks pretty. That looks good. So you can so for the smaller buildings, we're just going to come in with a different brush. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to kind of blend this down here. Not worried about going all the way up to the shrubs. I'll just kind of pull that down like that. Throw that in the water, and now I have a smaller. This is my 1/4 inch filbert. If you have a 1/4 inch flat, that's okay too. I'm just using this one here. I don't even think we have that. I didn't even pull out the flat, 1/4 inch flat. And I'm just using that on its side and coming in and blocking in. Anytime you're filling in, just blocking in these paintings. And I'm leaving, you can see sometimes I'm leaving in a little bit of the white in between so I could still see where these buildings were. And then you can turn, so you can turn your brush to shape the size of the building, the bigger building, like this. So you can just put one brush stroke and just pull it down. Yep. And let the brush do the work for you. And so that's it. We're coming in. I'm just filling this in. And then I'll come in with my smaller brush too. Do that. And then I have a very small round liner brush or a detail brush. And whenever you add paint to this brush, you always want to hold the brush in this direction so that it does not mess the bristles up either. And I twist it a little, add a little bit of water to keep this flowing nice. I'm twisting the brush in my fingers to create that nice little point because I need that point to do the PPG building, right? Looks like a little glass castle. Do our little...
I'm usually heavy-handed. I'm going smaller brush on the PPG.
Yes, definitely.
I have to.
So I'm going to come in. So again, this is very simple. In the design, I have some little yellow highlights. So while this is still wet, I'm going to mix a soft yellow. Now I'm going to come in and pick out some of these edges of the building. We'll see how this looks. I feel like I'm going to add a little bit of pink. So it's a sort of a golden yellow, and I'm just going to highlight the edges of these buildings with my little brush. And again, we're not putting in every window or anything like that. This is just a suggestion of where the buildings are so that it just gives it a little interest here. And you could see I'm pulling down some little spots here. You guys are so quiet today. You're focused, huh? You're
Yeah,
focused.
this is very intricate for me.
Yeah.
It is. This is a lot of...
But it's good. It's good. Yeah, just fill that in, and you can leave the lines where the buildings are. You can leave a little gap there so that you still know where they are, and then you come in with your little highlighter. And then I'm also putting a little highlight just here and there on the horizon. Maybe the sun is reflecting on the trees or buildings, and sometimes you see like there's still little lights on. I know I could see that from my house in between the other houses. I can still see like little twinkly lights in between. And that's all. And as this dries, and we can come back in and see if we need any little shadow or something I might want. But yeah, that looks good. So just fill that in, and then just leave the lines in between so you can see where the buildings are. But you want to block in with the gray, and then I would say you could even add a little white or purple also, just so all the buildings don't have to be all the same color. I feel like mine are a little, yeah, they're drying okay, but I feel like I need a little definition in between. So I'm just going to mix. I just mixed a little bit of that purple and gray, and you can see if I just pop a little in between, and that just shows where they are. And then that fog, we have a lot of foggy mornings here, and sometimes it's really pretty. The fog rises, it's around the city, and then I can see the Steel Building, PPG, and all the different ones, and it's like the castle in the sky. It's very very magical looking. So you could see there. So that's all. And as your paint dries on the palette, if you add a tiny bit of water, that will reactivate your paint. So I need a little bit of that
Thank you for
gray.
that tip. I was wondering.
Well, I needed a little bit of that gray. Again, instead of trying to mix it, I just introduced a little bit of water on my palette. And then you could see here, there's still some white around my buildings. So I'm coming in with my little brush. And this is probably the most difficult part of this painting. It is a little more intricate, but they look real. Oh, I like that. Nice. And just do it whatever way you see fit, or however you want to see your colors. Just try to keep them a little lighter, which they are, because the tree will be the tree's in silhouette, so the tree's going to be very dark with a little highlight on it. So did you ever go up there to the West End Overlook?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been
beautiful.
there too.
Yeah, and this is, I think, some of the news channels, I know they'll have the images from that viewpoint too, but that tree, I'm not sure. I need to go. I think it's a maple. I'm
Well,
not real
that
sure.
that Dave DeCello does these
Yeah.
paintings pretty strong, and I think
Yeah.
the friend that you guys
yeah,
have.
JP. Well,
Yeah.
I must admit JP Durrell, he is an amazing photographer as well.
Yes.
And he has one that I have a picture of it in my house too, and that.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I have a little, I think a coaster of one of his, and I see it all the time. So of course that influenced me as well. So both good photographers. A lot of
Well, I
people
appreciate.
make a living with Pittsburgh, right? Even John.
Right.
Well, you can see some of Jono's working
Yes.
here. People love Pittsburgh. They love the skyline. If you've ever been here and you travel, you still want everybody to know you're from Pittsburgh, and
Exactly.
it's
Well,
really
I
great.
appreciate your themes each month.
Yeah, well, and like I said,
Oh, thank
Terry's
you.
a Pittsburgh girl and doing really good
Yeah,
things
'cause
for our
that's-
city, and I feel like that inspired. She
Yeah.
inspired what I thought we wanted to paint. So
Right.
Thanks for
Yeah.
volunteering, Terry.
one woman can make a difference.
I
see?
appreciate you.
I
No.
appreciate both
Yours
of you
is looking
guys.
great.
They look really good. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to move on with the fog. So let's see. We are going to use, because of the fog, I have it a little rounder. You can see in here. I'm going to use the brush, the 1/2 inch shader, but it's curved. It's curved, or it could be referred to as a filbert brush as well. So you can see that. And what I'm going to do is make a very soft gray, but a little more, I think I'll add some pink to it, a little bit of pink to it, because it would be the sky reflecting kind of in this fog too. And we're going to put that above the shrubs. Now I'll probably end up, very good, painting over some of the shrubby parts that we drew. And that's okay, because we can add those. Are you ready for your fog too, you think? You
I'm
got
ready
it?
for you.
This one, but it's probably in your water, a little bit bigger.
Well, I used that accidentally, that
Yeah, I
half
think
round
it's
one.
this one. Yep.
This one.
So
Got it.
what you're going to do, are you guys okay with your palette? Do you need a clean one or anything?
Yeah, I'm fine.
No,
You're
I'm
good.
good once I
Okay.
get rid of this one.
So we're going to start with white. Generous amount of white. So you can see I did a couple. Yep. So the white, and then let's add tiny bit of black. Just a little. I'll put it off to the side and then pull it over. A little bit of black. Ooh. See, it's so strong. It just really, if it's too strong, you just go off to the side a little bit more.
It is strong.
And then I'm going to pull in some pink. Yes, a little bit of this pink. So it's like a soft gray pink color. I would say probably go over into the white more. We want to keep it, just mix it over here.
Okay.
Yeah, and there you go. And then add some pink to that. And because we want this to be a soft pink gray, but then we also want to be able to highlight it a little bit more as it dries. So I'm coming in and I'm laying the brush this way. See that curve of the brush? And I'm just moving it up and down, just kind of pouncing it on the canvas, because we want that to have sort of a little.
Can we cover the shrubs up then? Or?
You probably will end up covering them, and that's fine.
Well, I can try to leave some detail for
Well, I would say just don't worry about the shrubs. We can add that, and most of mine are getting covered anyway.
them. Okay.
And so
And you just keep dabbing it like
yeah,
you're
just
doing?
kind of dabbing. So you can see like this direction. Yep. So you want the brush this direction, and so that the curve creates your little part, and just kind of pounce the brush and just do some elevated areas, lower, higher. And so this is going to dry slightly darker. And so I basically cleaned off my brush on the canvas. But I want to make sure there's no more, I'm not putting it in the water, I'm just taking that extra paint off my brush and I'm adding just the white. So my brush is still a little dirty, and that's okay because I don't necessarily want it to be a true white. And I'm coming in and I'm just going to highlight.
This was much more intricate than I thought.
Yeah, no, it's good. I would say try to keep it a little lighter up at the top, and then as it's drying, I'm still putting in some of that pink. So I want a very, very light pink, white with the pink. And as that's drying, I'm coming in and just tapping just the top. We're not going over all of them. Again, just the tops of where we want some definition of like those layers. So you can see there. Now in the design, it's more pink. I still think I want it more pink. A little more pink in there as that light is coming in from the sky, kind of hitting that. And I'll see how it dries.
We got to keep that sun in focus from the
Yes.
left,
Yes.
right?
I'm going to grab my 1/2 inch flat shader. Okay. We good. Make sure all your cloud. Well, make sure you finish your. Yeah. You don't have to worry about keeping up with me. Just finish your fog. You can see I'll put some highlights on there.
Okay.
And I would put some white. Use white, and put a little bit of pink in there, because you can take your time. You don't have to finish at the same time as me.
Okay, good.
No, I just have to keep it going,
Good.
So
Terry,
you take
I'll
your
share
time.
this. Being a sports guy, I'm normally competitive. Maria told me to take my time.
Take your time.
Okay. All right.
We'll make sure you finish. I just have to keep it going, but
Well,
you're
we're
good.
guaranteed to finish, Maria.
Yes, always finish.
Just had to add that in.
That's right.
We will finish, Terry.
That's right. Now the shrubs, I'm using my 1/2 inch flatter. I want that to be dark in silhouette also, but I don't want them to be as dark as this tree. I still want that tree to be the darkest. It's in the foreground. It's in shadow the most in silhouette. So what I did was I made a softer black. I took the black and I added some purple. So it will appear to be black or in silhouette, but it's still, again, not as harsh. And I'm coming in very simply. You can see I'm flipping my brush. I'm holding it like this, and I'm just creating that illusion or suggestion, if you will, of shrubs.
It made a big difference. I just tried it, so thank you.
And I'm just flipping, like I said, I'm just flipping the brush, and as it comes down to this area, I have that line. It's the walkway, I guess. I think there's like a little fence in there, but we're not putting all that detail, that fence.
We got too much detail
Yeah,
today.
and then the same
Right.
thing. Yeah, we're good. And then a little bit darker, stronger black. I'm edging this here. All right, and then I have a gray, so I'll add a little bit of white. Still, I didn't clean my brush. I just kept all those paints on there. This is a little lighter here. Okay, and then continue that here. And then I have purple in here, because why not, right? There's purple in the sky. We want to repeat some of these colors that are up above so that it doesn't look so boring. We're taking artistic license here.
Hey, there's nothing boring here, Maria.
And you know what? I'm going to throw some pink in there too. I have some pink and purple, and I'm pushing, you can see I'm pushing my brush up like this, almost like there's maybe some little grasses there. And then I'm coming in with my softer black, and I'm finishing this all the way down to the edge of the canvas. And then I'm going to take my little round brush and mix my highlight, like we did the highlight on the buildings. I want a little highlight, like that sun is hitting my shrubs, and I'm just going in the same direction as I painted them with the larger brush, but I just want to pick out some little points here. Now highlights when you're all done. Sometimes you have to go back in and add a few more once your painting is finished or almost done. So I'm just doing that right now, and I'll take a look when I'm done. Oops, I have a couple.
And we can adjust as we go along, like you're saying,
Yes.
right?
So we have our little highlights on our shrubs, but we'll check those again after we block in the tree and the leaves. You guys are good there. Yep. And you can make those a little bit darker. And if you grab the brush and flip it this way, if you hold the brush this way and then this way, and you just kind of rotate like that, you see, and then you move your hand around, kind of gives you that a little bit of a shrubby look. All right, so I'm using just the straight black because we want this tree to be in silhouette. We want it to be very much darker than the rest.
So clean the brush, then go to black?
Yes. And you'll see now those colors that we used in the buildings and the sky, they will look softer and lighter because this black is very dark. But it's in silhouette because the sun.
And what brush do I use for the tree?
I'm
I still
still
have
using
that
the
rounded.
same.
I have the rounded half. Should I
You
go?
can use the half. You can use that one, or I'm using the big flat one since I had that for my shrubs.
Oh, that's straight half?
Yes, the
Okay.
flat
Yeah, that's flat.
half-inch.
All right, just check it.
Yep. And then I'm pulling down. You can use either one, Alan. So
Well, I'm taking your guidance.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm just pulling that down
I
here.
can't do what you do, but I'll take the guidance.
Right.
You're doing great. And
Thank
then
you.
I'm pulling my up here. So what do you have coming up? Anything with your kids or
I have
seniors,
a
or-
seniors going strong coming April the 15th at
Okay.
a community kitchen in Hazelwood.
How do they get a hold of you, Terry?
They can call. They can they can get in contact with me through my email address,
Yeah.
jadahouse 833 at
Yeah.
gmail.com.
And we'll have links on our
Yes.
show
Cool.
too.
No, I just wanted it out there as they're watching and
Oh,
painting.
definitely.
Pique their interest a little bit because
Sure.
I'm interested. That's great.
Yeah, April the 15th, Saturday from 12 to 2, we'll have
And where is this again?
Hazelwood
Okay.
Seniors Going Strong at Community Kitchen. That's 107 Flowers Avenue.
Okay.
And it's a RSVP, so you would have to email me and if you wanted to get on the list. And then we have our senior luncheon coming up June 3rd, and we have special guest Tubby Daniels, who's a jazz band, and
I've heard of
Oh,
him.
yeah.
he'll be performing, and we have a guest speaker, and we'll have a catered meal from Bistros to Go. That's June the 3rd from 12 to 3, and we'll be giving away gift cards as always. And
Nice.
that's what's coming up. And then August the 19th is our back to school
That
celebration.
was my dad's birthday.
Yes, that's my aunt's birthday. And it's
that's a
back
great
to
day.
Yes, Aaliyah.
Saul was my dad. He was born in the Hill District like I was.
Oh, okay.
His
okay.
family grew up on 105 Pride Street.
My
I
dad
know
grew
where
up
Pride
there
Street.
too.
I know where Pride
Yeah.
Street's
We're
at.
all-
My dad
Yep.
grew up there.
Mercy Hospital
Yep.
took the grandmother's house and made it their ER.
Wow.
You go right
Okay.
up Pride in the ER, that's where the house
That's
was.
where
there.
the house was. Wow.
I was born there. That's my claim to fame.
You know they're still reconstructing up there.
They're always working
yeah.
around there. Yeah,
But
in my opinion.
August the 19th is our back to school program, and that's from 2 to 5, and that is in Hazelwood Green at Mill 19.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So that is what's
And
coming
where are
up.
they
with it.
located at in Hazelwood?
In 4165 Lowell Street.
I like addresses. So
Yes,
thank
4165 Lowell Street.
you. No, thanks for providing
great.
that. And that's great stuff you're doing. So you need the RSVP because they're feeding you. So you need to know how many people come
Right.
there.
Exactly.
Just to
exactly.
explain why.
Exactly. We have to have a count, for the food that we're serving. Now, for the senior luncheon, we do have a RSVP, but for the community back to school program, we don't. We just make sure
Well,
we have
you're the
enough.
boss. If it works for you, we're not going to complain.
There you
Terry.
go.
Right,
All right.
right.
No, that sounds great, and to your continued success.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
All those trees coming.
Coming pretty decent.
Do
I
you
think.
guys, can we do like just a quick show the cameras, like your progress, and then we'll,
Yeah, as soon as
Wanna
I get
flip?
this part of the branch, I'll
they can
try.
see mine.
I'm not done yet.
All right.
No, but it's just the progress.
I'll show
You're
some
getting there.
progress. I'm getting
It's
there.
looking good. Yeah? They look good? Okay.
Thanks for your help, Maria.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have the tree blocked in with the black, and you can see how it's really making a nice contrast here. I did hold my brush. I'm using the same brush for the smaller branches. You can see here, if you hold your brush like this, you'll get a thinner
Maria,
line.
you taught me to do that
Yeah,
edge. Look at
it's
what
all-
I did.
Great.
I
That's
edged it
great.
in
Yep.
there.
And then for this, so what you want to do is throw in. We have we transferred the design, the basic shape of the tree, but add some branches. You don't have to put them in the same place as mine are, but just add some branches just to break it up a little. And then we're going to do the same thing that we did for the shrubs. We're going to use the same brush and
We're putting black in on those, or
black, and then we're going to block some of those in, but then I'm going to add some other color too, just to give especially the leaves underneath, so a little interest there. So I'm going to put some leaves here. Now what you want to do is make sure, you can see I'm flipping my brush, and I'm not even pushing it all the way down. If you push it less, you'll get a smaller leaf, but try to keep some of the sky color in between the leaves, okay? And that's what's going to make it interesting, is you don't want to cover up all that pretty sky that you just painted. So I'm going to put some leaves, I would say, along the top edge of the canvas. Try to get some
and
of the
you're
leaves.
using black on that?
Yes, just the black. I'm blocking them in, but I'm not covering too much. I'm going to leave some spaces, and then I'm going to grab.
Well, I'm usually
some other-
heavy-handed, so go lightly on that.
Yes, you can see here, if I just kind of use the corner.
I'll use
of
that
the
dab
brush.
word, just a little dab.
Yeah, a little dab will do ya.
Yes.
And then just flip the brush, rotate the brush in different directions, kind of like puzzle shape, or just kind of move it around, because they're leaves, they're growing in all different directions. But they're little, I have them a little heavier here. And then you could see I'm leaving that sky in between. So what I'm doing here, you can see I'm just using the corner, I'm just flipping. See if you just go like this. So you just move, you can practice on here. I think you need a little bit more paint on there. So you can practice, you can just see how you can move it around. Just flip, flip the brush back and forth, the corners, and then your hand. And that looks pretty good there. I feel like I might want to come down. Then I'm just taking the extra paint off on a paper towel, and I'm going to grab some purple and yellow. I'm not sure what this is going to look like yet.
And
but I'm
put it
grabbing-
over the leaves?
So I'm just going to hit.
This is getting exotic.
No, see, it just, you could see, so I'm going on top of the leaves, and I'm going beside the leaves, and just hitting, just here and there, just breaks it up a little, and it looks like that sky is illuminating those leaves a little bit. You see that?
I see what you did, yeah.
You see there?
That makes sense. Yeah, so just put it on the left side there.
Well, yeah.
Or
just
close.
kind of, and under the ones up at the top of the canvas I'd leave darker, because maybe the light, but you can see I'm just kind of hitting the leaves. And then I'm going to take my little round brush again, and I'm going to put some highlights just here and there along the trunk of the tree, the branches, and I think there might be a little too much there. You could always add more black if you don't like it. So I'm just doing this a little on this side. You can see I'm just kind of laying my brush down, and that brings that tree to life a little bit there. And then I think I'll grab my brush and just do something like this, some little wispy
stuff.
grasses, again, that the light is picking up. And then I'll just kind of look at everything. If I feel like maybe I don't like this here, I'll throw a little black back in there. If I need a highlight, maybe just pick out a little yellow here and there, and maybe a little white, maybe a little highlight here and there. And that's pretty much it. And then the grasses too. I think maybe some white. But you can add pink. Let's add some pink down here too. Let's add some pink. Let's make it colorful, right?
Yeah.
See how I have the brush at the edge of the canvas, and then I'm just lifting it up?
Oh, wow, that is unique
See
down
that?
there, yeah. Looks great.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I think I'm done. Maybe add some little, see here. I'm gonna add a little bit of white on my, so you want your little fog, yeah, have your little highlights there. Add a little bit of pink in there. I think that's it. And I might let it dry, look at it later. You can always do that with acrylics. You can always come in and add some little details or highlights or shadows. That's what's nice about the acrylics, just add those little dots. So how are you guys coming
I'm
along?
good.
there?
The only thing I have a question is with the little grasses and things.
Yeah?
What brush do I go to
Okay,
with
so
that?
I used the little round brush.
Okay.
And when you do the grasses, I just put the brush down on the canvas and then you pull and lift up,
Okay.
just like that.
So this brush here.
Little round, thin like a liner brush.
Oh,
Yes.
this one.
Yes.
Yes. Now I'm.
So as you push down, it creates the bottom of the grass, and as you pull, you
and
lift
what are you
up.
making? It's green then.
I used purple. I used black. Oh no, we don't have green,
No, we don't. Well,
and we can't make green either.
yeah.
No.
So
I used black, yellow, pink, purple. Just do different colors. I use different
okay,
colors
black, yellow.
because I wanted to repeat some of those colors from the
Okay.
sky.
Well, I'll try to do black, yellow, and then purple.
Sure, just lay the brush down, and you want to create the black under the tree. You see the tree here?
Yeah.
You want to get some. You need that tree to be rooted in something and sitting on. So you need to bring that tree, the black, down.
All the way to
Yes,
the bottom.
and
Oh, I
give
missed
it
that.
some interest because the tree, it just you just don't want it to look like it's floating. You just want to read it. So I'm done with mine. I'll probably look at it later and see if I need to add anything. We're gonna finish up their paintings and reveal those, right?
Yes.
But we're gonna finish yours, and so you can see this on BPTV. You can see this on our YouTube channels, and mine is Maria's Ideas Art, and the BPTV has the YouTube channel as well. And we also have the list of materials and supplies that you would need to create your own, where you can get the art kits from the studio, but we have to pre-order them since I can't have all of the art kits for all the episodes here at all times, but just a day's
Understood.
notice or something, yeah.
And your kits are just great.
Yeah. So anyway, so yes, we have everything here. Like I said, maybe look at it as it dries, pick out some highlights and shadows, but it's the West End Overlook. If you're ever in Pittsburgh, you've never been there, it's a great vantage point to see the city. So I'm going to see how my friends are doing, my fellow artists here,
Oh.
and then we will show you their paintings. We're done.
Thank you for your help.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, see, you got a style. See, people don't know you have a style until you start doing it, right? I love it. Just do your thing. I love it. Yeah. Okay. So we are done with our paintings. They look great. I hope you had fun. They are fabulous. We all have
I
our
had
own
tun
style.
much fun.
No,
It was
you have
great.
fun?
Yeah, this was nice.
Good.
This was
All
very
right.
nice.
So let's flip them around so we can see. I love you have a lot of energy in yours. Alan's is great too. I love it. Very nice. Thank you for joining us again for episode 4, and we can show the next one. I don't believe we have a special guest. It's just going to be Alan and me.
Ah.
And we are going to paint a happy bluebird for springtime in May.
Yes.
So,
Ah.
yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
Love
having
having
me.
you here.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye,
Okay.
and check out all the
Yay.
information at the bottom. Get your kits and follow along painting with us. Look, my 4th painting, I'm excited to do number 5.